Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about Bibles. First, we're going to talk about a Bible that you might be interested in reading, and then we're going to talk about what's a good thing to use with your kids. So, I've brought some props for you. This is my Bible. It is really thick, but this is my favorite Bible to use for my own personal Bible study. This is a life application study Bible, and what I prefer to use is the New International Version. Now, the reason that I like the NIV is because the translators who wrote this translation down went back to the original Greek and Hebrew manuscripts and they translated directly from that. So I think this is the most straightforward way to get exactly what God intended us to read, since the King James Version was written back in the 1600s. I love the NIV. I think it expresses what I need to know. It's really clear in today's language, and I believe it's an accurate translation. So I'm going to be using several of those. Now, when I'm studying the Bible, I want to read the Bible, obviously, but there's a lot of times I get confused and there's parts that I don't know what exactly it means. This is why I love a study Bible. Here is the beginning of the book of Isaiah. If you look at the top, they have a timeline. This is what's happening in the world, in the actual world, in world history during the time of the writing of this book. And then in this part, this is a description of what you're going to be reading in this book. And down this side, it has a broken down part of what is the purpose of this book, who is the author, what is the date it was written, the setting, and then even a key Bible verse. If I'm doing a Bible study or if I'm reading for my personal devotions, those kind of things help me. And I'll spend some time on those pages because it helps me understand exactly what the relevance of that is for me to read today. And then when you're reading inside of a book, this top part is the Bible, and this bottom part is a commentary plus, to me, it's a clarification. It explains exactly what's happening in those verses, whether it's a phrase or a figure of speech that might regard something that I don't know what they're talking about. I can glance down there, and in Isaiah 125, God says, I will turn my hand against you. I will purge away your dross and remove all your impurities. Not quite sure what that means. And the commentary explains God promised to refine his people similar to the way that metal is purged in a smelting pot. And it goes through and explains that comparison, because we don't really do a lot of metal purifying today. So I love this Bible. At the back, it has maps. It has a lot of timelines throughout. It's really, really good. It's thick, but I use this at home in my personal Bible study, and then I do bring it to church because it's my favorite Bible. So I heartily recommend a study Bible like that. Now, this is the kind of Bible that some folks would give to a child. This is a Precious Moments Bible that was given to my grandson when he was born, and this actually has his name on it. So this is great to hold in your hand, but the problem is this is not the kind of Bible that you would read to a baby or a toddler. So what we did with this one is we just put it on the shelf. So if you're buying a Bible for a child, I would encourage you not to buy this unless they just want to get in the habit of bringing their Bible to church when they're a toddler. But this is not one that a child could use. This is the Bible that I read with my children when they were little, and now I'm reading it with my grandkids. This is called the Children's Discovery Bible, and there's a lot of Bibles that are like this. It's essentially a picture book, but it's a 2-page story of each of the stories in the Bible. So it doesn't include the genealogies, it doesn't include the rules and regulations that are in some of the parts that some folks might consider to be boring. It has a title, and then underneath it says exactly where in the Bible this story has come from. There's an Old Testament and a New Testament part, and then there's pictures. The pictures look like any other storybook, but they're God's stories straight out of the Bible. So you could read this book with your kids, 1 or 2 stories every night when they're little. They can sit in your lap and look at the pictures, and you can tell them we're reading the Bible. Encourage your kids to get in the habit of reading Bible stories every single day. And then when they're old enough to read, they can take this to bed with them. They can read this themselves. And then eventually, when they're old enough for personal Bible study, maybe then you can bring back their children's Bible. Or this is one that I have enjoyed for my kids. This is a pocket Bible. And this is a girl's one. And again, we put the kids' names on it. This is Morgan's Bible. I don't know if you can see that there, but this is an NIV as well. This is the one called Faith Girls. As you can see, it's very slim. You could actually put this in your backpack. The schools have Bring Your Bible to School Day that our youth participate in. This would fit perfectly. It has all the Bible right there, small font for young eyes to read, but it also has these descriptors throughout. So this is just a little card in the middle of the Bible, and it says God is always there. And then these are some scenarios where a teenage girl might be having a hard time, and she can tie her relationship with God to some of these events, some of these ideas. We want the Bible to be as relevant as it possibly can to our kids, so they see it as the most essential reference book they read. And so this is another NIV, but this is the Faith Girls. It has this nice magnetic cover, and there's a lot of NIV books out there on the market, but the kind that the kids can use that are small and that have applicable things for them is the one I would recommend to any kids. But when you start with kids reading the Bible, start with a picture Bible that has really cool pictures that makes them want to read more.